Well, it's been a minute, hasn't it? We're finally
What are we doing?
Getting our act together and watching the next episode of musical episodes of non-musical TV shows. Yay.
Yeah.
This is the third episode. I made a list of 20 TV shows in the past 25 years that have all had a musical TV episode. The rules just were that it had to be in the last 25 years and the show had to not already be a musical to begin with. And it had to be something I could easily find on streaming services. So unfortunately, the Chicago Hope musical episode with Mandy Patinkin, can't find it anywhere. So
there was no hope.
Maybe it should start streaming somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, come on, get it together, Chicago Hope.
Yeah, we've done 10 episodes so far, so if you want to see them, the link is all over the place. But we're pulling the episodes out of a hat at random, so we know what the 20 episodes are, but we don't know the order we're getting them.
Thank you for having me. You know, this is really exciting. And the commute was fantastic.
Jeff, Emily, we're on day 69 of the quarantine.
It doesn't have to be said.
These are the episodes we've done so far. So far we've seen Oz, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Even Stevens, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, That 70s Show, Ally McBeal, The Magicians, Xena Warrior Princess, Community, and Daria. So that's only 10. So we have 10 more.
Yeah.
So Jeff, do you know which ones are in the mix?
I don't know which ones are in the mix. I'm gonna just be surprised. I'm cool with that. I don't need to know everything.
We haven't hit any of the medical shows that have had musical episodes yet.
And Chicago Hope is out, and we still have more medical shows?
There are a couple, yeah. A lot of these shows have supernatural elements to them, because a lot of them have a supernatural explanation for why the people are breaking out in a song. A lot of the list is like a bunch of supernatural type shows. And the other fun thing is Jeff and I haven't seen a lot of these shows. A couple of them we have, a couple of them we know really well. The last episode we watched the regional holiday music of Community, which we both love, and the first episode we did Buffy Once More with Feeling. So now
of the 10 that we've watched so far, what's your fave? What's your favorite if you had to pick?
Buffy's pretty great. One that I hadn't really seen in a while that I really loved was Xena Warrior Princess. That one was
so
pretty
good.
great.
It was really funny.
Okay, so we're gonna pick.
Oh, okay. Is it me first? Am I first?
Do you want to go first?
Nah, I don't have to go first. I shouldn't. Okay, I'll do it. Let's see.
Don't look.
Of course I'm not gonna look. All right, here we go. Ah, it's the medical. We're starting the medical field ones.
Scrubs.
If you don't know.
Okay, so I've seen a few episodes of Scrubs. I think I might have seen the musical episode, but I don't think I remember it. I do remember that Stephanie DeBruzzo from Avenue Q is in it. Okay, so we're gonna watch some Scrubs and then we'll get back to you.
All right, and you guys can pause and watch as well, so we can chat about it later.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's watch Scrubs.
You belong at Sacred. Doctors, nurses, patients, dead guys. Welcome to Sacred Heart.
Bravo.
All right, that was thoroughly enjoyable.
That was really fun.
That was really cool. So we watched Scrubs, My Musical. It was from season 6 in 2007. Remember the early aughts?
It was very
the early
2007.
aughts. Everyone had. There was even a guy with like Zac Efron hair. Hold on, our dog is jumping around. There you go. All right, Charlie's gonna be here for a little bit. Well, the episode was written by Deborah Fordham, but she enlisted the help of some composers to help write the songs with her, and among them were Jeff Marks and Robert Lopez, who just a few years before this, I guess, had written Avenue Q, and Robert Lopez would go on to write wildly successful Disney musicals.
Maybe. You've heard of it? Frozen? Yeah.
Yeah, Frozen with his wife.
Cash Cow.
Yeah, that's why all the songs are new and they all have a very, they're all very musical theater. You can tell there are some that are kind of generally inspired by the idea of musical theater, and then there's some that are, you can tell are direct homages
Yeah.
and parodies
Yeah.
of certain musical theater songs.
I love, just first of all, the conceit of the episode is it's kind of bookended by this special guest, who's special guest character Stephanie D'Abruzzo.
Stephanie D'Abruzzo.
Excuse me.
Stephanie D'Abruzzo, who was in Avenue Q.
Right,
and
so that's the
she's
Avenue Q
been
connection. That's
a
probably
Muppeteer for ages and a musical theater performer. So she has an
she had the
aneurysm.
connection with Jeff
Yeah.
Marks and those guys. But so so she has an aneurysm at the beginning, and then the whole reason why everybody's singing and dancing is because it's in her head.
Yeah.
That's how she's
So
singing.
she's kind of like walking in the background of a lot of scenes.
Yeah.
And
When she's not in the scene, they're talking normally. That was a really clever way to bring us into this world, and then it also created an arc for the episode.
So the opening was a song called Welcome to Sacred Heart, which is the hospital, and that was very...
You live on Avenue Q.
It reminded me of the Daria musical episode in the sense where it was like, here's what a musical is!
Classic opening number feel.
Yeah.
Like, show us what the world is.
Yeah, and they had straight up box steps and jazz hands and a Busby Berkeley like aerial shot of them making like circles.
And one of the things I find charming, especially in television musical episodes like this, when it's people that don't normally do musical theater, it's very cool to see them just do the basic box step movements or whatever. You know, like it's singers who move well is what the term is in the business.
Well, I was looking it up online, and a lot of the cast had done, I think because a lot of people just, if you're an actor and you start when you're young, you tend to just do a musical, like you do children's theater or you do your high school shows.
Yeah.
I know that Donald Faison and Judy Reyes both had like singing, musical theater experience. Zach Braff, I guess, is just like a musical theater junkie. Like he just loved musicals. Ken Jenkins, who played Dr. Kelso, was in Big River on Broadway. Then they did this song called Everything Comes Down to Pooh. I kind of at first was at the beginning I kind of was like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But then then it started making me laugh when they were like, check the poo.
They went all in.
I've got a shot in my arm.
Yeah.
Check the poo.
It wouldn't have worked if they didn't go all the way.
Yeah. They had a song where they were like, we're gonna miss you, Carla, and it was just a nice like, it was almost like a little gospel number. It was very fun, very high energy, very pattery.
Well, it's cool too how they did it with the B storyline. Like her B storyline was she was wondering if she should go back to work after recently having a baby.
So then they did a song called the Rant Song, which was definitely their modern Major General moment. So John C. McGinley was doing his patter stuff and kind of ranting at Zach Braff. And then Neil Flynn came in and did this beautiful baritone moment. The janitor, who I know is Zach Braff's nemesis. I don't know any of these characters' names. Then they had their One Day More, or Do You Hear the People Sing, which was called When the Truth Comes Out.
Whenever you're gonna write a song like that, it has to be a title like When the Truth Comes Out. Like
Yeah.
it's vague enough. It's a vague enough title that
Do You Hear the People Sing?
It can incorporate
One Day
every
More.
storyline
Yeah.
all together. That's the power
Yeah,
movement.
and they
Usually
all
you hear
had
that
their
more.
little, like, each singing a line, a lyric, as their, the whole thing comes together.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Karen Ziemba was there as a radiologist. But she does not do anything musical theater related. So another Betty Buckley situation on Oz, I guess. So after that, the next song is Guy Love.
Very, very 2000s.
Very no homo.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was still funny. It's like that romantic pop ballad you find in every kind of modern musical.
Yeah, I thought it was clever the way that they did it. And obviously these two guys have been in the show for years and years and years. So
Yeah, their whole joke is like that they're like in love or something, but they're like dudes. Because guys can't be in love, man, because...
Well, yeah,
norms.
it's just the most hilarious thing of all time to think that men could have feelings. And
I know, and
heterosexual
have men
men,
who love each other. What are they, hobbits?
It's an easy joke.
Carla and Turk had their song For the Last Time I'm Dominican, which feels like
Very
a running
funny.
joke on the show. I think he
Yeah.
must always mess up her ethnicity. But that was like the Latin-inspired musical theater number. It was like definitely a tango.
Yeah, it was definitely inspired by the Tango Maureen.
Very
for sure.
Tango Maureen. I had some fun rhymes.
It was clever. Oh yeah, Win Again.
Win Again rhyme.
I know I
Dominican.
can't win again. Dominican.
Near the end, they have the song "Friends Forever," which was definitely their "We
Grease.
Go Together."
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
their "We Go
Ram-a-lam-a-ding
Together."
dong.
But instead of doing the nonsense words, they were doing like medical terms,
Yeah, it's
like
funny.
really elongated. I can't even give you examples. hydroxychloroquine. They were just rattling off. And I thought that was a really cute way to kind of pay homage to the Ramalama Kidding-a-ding-ding-ding.
I mean, somehow they fit all this into 24 minutes.
22 minutes, I think.
22 minutes. And yeah, because episodic 20 would be 22 minutes.
Yeah.
It felt very complete. It felt very fleshed out.
Yeah.
It was
And then they
really
have the
good.
song "What's Going to Happen."
Oh yeah, and then
that was also a Rent moment. It felt very No Day But Today or
it was very life support.
Life Support. Yeah. So she goes under and she gets the surgery to get rid of I don't know if it was a tumor or what. They got rid of something.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't hear the musicals anymore.
What a spectacular, fun way, creative, innovative way to make a musical, like a mini musical.
Yeah.
Take away the comedy. The stakes are really high for this character. She might die. She's going in under the knife to get this tumor out of her brain. I mean, just toss that in. Zach
Braff says at the end in his monologuing, he says, "In musicals, there's always a happy ending." And I was like, that's a pretty outdated idea. I mean, that's like an idea that went out with like the 50s, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's always a happy ending.
Maybe it's happy for somebody, for some characters.
Have you seen Sweeney
I guess it
Todd?
depends. Yeah, it depends what your definition is.
But I think we liked this episode a lot.
I really liked it. I thought it was very well written. And to be fair, this is a studio show, so it's like relatively easy to produce, but they're doing full-on numbers. And that's not easy. Even, they have to pre-record it, then you gotta make sure everything is in sync.
Very clever.
And almost every number was a group number, which is difficult. A lot of times we see these and it's like, oh, solo song, but these were all group numbers with people having to come in at different times. The extras were very involved. I mean,
they're all clearly dancers. Yeah. So it's a fun episode.
It's not easy to do that. They did a great job.
Yeah, and because it's a sitcom, you don't really have to like follow the show at all. You can step right in and kind of get what's going on.
Absolutely.
So Scrubs, my musical. Very good
Bravo.
musical episode of a non-musical TV show.
Oh, and I was gonna say the title, My Musical, sounds very like when you're starting a screenplay or My Project.
Yeah.
They just forgot to rename it, but because of the
Musical.
story, it works perfectly because of the through line of the Stephanie
I know,
D'Abruzzo.
we thought it was Zach Braff, but it was
It's all Stephanie
It
D'Abruzzo.
was her musical.
And she should have been happy with that. That was probably an easy gig for her, man. Most of the time
And
she's
she
just-
got it. The fact that Bobby Lopez and Jeff Marks were working on it was a total coincidence. They just happened to cast
They didn't
her.
bring her in?
Nope.
Wow.
Okay, it's time to pick the next one.
Here we go. I got the hat. You're picking this time. Picking it up.
No.
No, I didn't even realize this was in there. The Simpsons.
Okay, so
I've seen every episode like 15
if
times.
there's one thing you must know about me and Jeff is that we love The Simpsons.
Oi, governor.
We've seen like every episode of The Simpsons. Like all older millennials, we can probably quote every single line from
Which we won't do because that's really annoying.
the first few seasons, the first decade of Simpsons TV. The Simpsons have had a lot of musical episodes. They have had musical numbers, they've had musical references. For example, when they went to New York, they saw the Betty Ford Center musical.
Yeah.
When Troy McClure was doing Planet of the Apes, the musical, that was pretty close. And of course, Lyle Landley in Marge vs. the Monorail was a direct homage to Harold Hill in The Music Man. But I wanted to go with a full musical episode, so we're gonna be doing Simpson Califragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, very cool. I was thinking maybe
Sherry Bobbins.
one of the other ones that's awesome is the Streetcar musical. That's
Streetcar, yes, but it's not the full episode,
not.
so that's why I went
She's right.
with this one. Okay, so we'll see you on the other side.
If you cut every corner, you'll have more time for play.
It's the American way.
Don't think it's sour grapes, but you're all a bunch of apes, and so I must be leaving you. We're not kidding, like, we are huge Simpsons fans. We have the Simpsons songbook, which has a bunch of really great sheet music from Simpsons episodes. For our wedding last year, we got not one, but two of those, like, turn you into a Simpsons character as gifts. People know us very well. We go to Springfield at Universal all the time, you know, when it was open.
We used to go there.
We used to go. So it's from season 8, and all the music is, there's only like 5 songs, I think. 1, 2, 3, there's 4 songs. And they're all fashioned after songs from Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
they're all
very
structured
clear.
after them. They're not the song with different lyrics though. They do that thing where they change
The style of.
Yeah, and I think they change. There's a rule to get around that, like you change every like 5th note or something
Yeah.
like that. So that's what they do, and it's really great, and it's all kind of perfect for Springfield in the Simpsons universe. In the vein of the perfect nanny, they have the minimum wage nanny. So it's Bart and Lisa singing like the kids with the little note about all the things they want in a nanny. If Maggie's fussy, don't avoid her.
Let me get away with Moida.
It's so funny. I just love it when Bart talks like a old-timey kid. And then their spoonful of sugar is cut every corner, then it's really not so bad.
Such a fun idea. Like, you know, you don't have to do a good job.
American way. Yeah.
Do a half-assed job.
Just do a half-assed job, and as long as everything looks okay, then everything's okay. Can't relate at all. It's supposed to be an homage to the moment when she's singing with her reflection, and hence, and hence. And on The Simpsons, she's on a milk carton singing to Apu.
Very funny.
Who's doing a half-assed job. Okay, so then they have a booze hound named Barney, which, do you know what song that's supposed to be like? It's Walt Disney's favorite song.
Oh.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag.
Right, because you're talking about a
tuppence.
lady in the park, right?
She's talking about her on the steps of St. Paul's. The steps of St. Paul's Cathedral. And instead, Barney is lying outside of Moe's.
Yeah.
And that's where Dan Castellaneta gets to use his... Buy me a beer, $2 a glass. That's pretty cheap beer. And then they end it with Happy Just the Way We Are, which is supposed to be like The Life I Lead, which is the song that the dad sings in Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
How lucky is the life I lead.
I think it was really fun to see The Simpsons take on this because this is, relatively new-ish. It was in its 8th season, but it's now in its 31st, so that just puts things in perspective.
This is from 1997.
The late 90s, yeah. So it was up to The Simpsons to do stuff like this, whereas
they had hit their stride. They were at the point where they were like, we got to come up with fresh ideas.
Well, and the obvious joke is someone as incredible as Sherry Bobbins would come to The Simpsons and they would break her. It's not the other way around.
And they do. They break her real bad. It's also really funny that they're doing this Disney property, this beloved Academy Award-winning Disney property, and now they're owned by Disney. There's the part where she says, I'm an original creation like Ricky Rouse or Ronald Muck. And all the songs obviously sound like the Sherman Brothers, even though the Simpsons writers wrote them.
Whenever there's episodes like this where the Simpsons have to be really kind of like a bad family, like acting up, Lisa always has to switch a little bit. It's not like, because normally Lisa would probably...
when she walks by hitting the
She's
pot.
like, the TV's on, I don't have time
TV.
to... It's like, that's not what Lisa isn't usually like that. So they have to adjust Lisa because everybody else, Marge sort of just goes along with the flow. Oh, but that was the whole point of this episode, is Marge is losing her hair.
She's stressed out because the kids are being, or the whole family's being awful to her.
So instead of the family being fixed and her hair being fixed, she just accepts her place in
She's
it
like,
all.
it's okay.
She's just like,
That's how she gets by.
Yeah, we're not the model family
I know.
at all, so I'm good with it now.
Yeah.
It was a kind of fun little twist on a twist.
And there's a lot of fun just Simpsons things in it overall. We do have a reference to hair, when her hair's falling out in a hair montage.
Oh, right.
They're singing hair.
Pull the actual song.
They have the Quentin Tarantino Itchy and Scratchy episode, which is not really musical related. It's pretty much a regular
It's pretty
Simpsons
funny.
episode,
It's a regular
but
Simpsons.
it's just a musical sometimes. The fun thing about doing this in animation is that you don't have to explain it. You could just be like, this is just happening today. Also, The Simpsons always had a lot of moments where people just burst into song, so why not just have the whole episode do it? I do like when she's drunk with Barney and singing Wasted Away in Margaritaville. Oh, also, it's not a guest star, it's Maggie Roswell, who was unceremoniously fired from the show. She's Maud Flanders and Helen Lovejoy, and she wanted more money, and then they just were like, let's fire her. because that was a
Because
cool.
nobody
that
can
was
tell
a
the
cool
darn
thing.
diddly difference.
That was a cool thing to do. Cool thing to do, Simpsons. But yeah, this is a great episode. The sheet music is pretty great. All the music was written by Alf Clausen, Al Jean, and Mike Reese.
Those are all Simpsons guys.
They're all legendary.
But it like tells you the kind of talent that they've always had in their writers' room. They've always done very well with musicals, I think. Particularly like lampooning the genre and the biz.
Yeah.
They do a great job of that.
Sorry, this sheet music is so good. You should get this.
And I found this guy. Unfortunately, Comic Book Guy wasn't in this episode. He
Worst episode ever. It's not. It's a really great episode.
What?
Yeah. So there are lots of great Simpsons musical moments. We named a few. Definitely check out A Streetcar Named Marge.
Yeah, if you're too young and you never really watched The Simpsons, if somebody who's around our age goes, Streetcar!
That's what we're talking about.
You'll know
yeah.
what it's about, yeah.
Just watch seasons 2 through 10. You'll be great. Okay, it's time to pick the next one.
What? Oh my god, this is too exciting. What was Comic Book's guy's name?
Jeff something.
I always want to say Jeff Pilson, but that was the bass player from Dokken. It's probably not the same name. I'll get it ready. I knew that was the bass player from Dokken. I know you knew that. I'm not gonna... Oh! I don't know this show at all.
Oh,
Fringe.
I don't know this show either. All I know is that Joshua Jackson's on it and that it's kind of X-Files-y. But I've heard this is a good musical episode, and I was looking up stuff. It was on like a lot of the top 10 lists.
Okay.
So, it's so sad because we would be doing the Hollywood Fringe. We're getting ready for it right now, but we're day 69 inside. Anyway, let's watch some Fringe.
Cover it, chocolate and a miracle or two. The Candyman. The Candyman can, cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good.
Okay, Fringe, season 2, Brown Betty.
Yeah.
This is another definitely in the vein of the Oz episode and the Magicians episode, where it's not really a musical.
No, it's not.
It's crazy because it's an entire fantasy kind of fairy tale that I don't think applies to the main plot of the show.
Yeah, it seems like it's like an outlier episode.
It's supposed to be like I think like more of a character building episode, and there's parallels. It's this alternate universe. So I guess John Noble is Joshua Jackson's dad, and Joshua Jackson's mad at him. It seems like he gets high off of some Brown Betty. So it's John Noble telling a kid who's babysitting a story,
Yeah.
and he's been smoking weed and listening to records. So
Right.
he kind of just says, oh, my dad used to tell me, or my mom used to tell me stories, and I like detective stories, and we liked musicals, and it's kind of like everything that's just in his head at the moment.
Yeah.
But he tells a very metaphorical story about his heart being stolen by his son.
It was pretty cool. I mean, in the way that the conceit of the episode, like you said, is him telling a story to this really terrific actor.
This kid actor.
Very good actor. But
She's probably like a total grown-up now, because this
this is
episode
11
is
years
from
ago, or 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah. She's like, I quit the biz, I'm a
She
lawyer
might
now.
have quit the... Yeah, and I was very happy to see Joshua Jackson. I love Dawson's Creek. It's always crazy for me to see Pacey all grown up, and he's got like... In this episode, he's like all noir, and
Yeah, that was
hat
cool.
down, and matchstick in his mouth, and talking fast, and eyebrow raise. It's great. I love that.
And of course, if you don't know John Noble, great Australian actor.
Oh, it's Denethor.
Denethor in Lord of the Rings. So he's
Yeah.
always playing that dark and brooding, very dramatic actor, very good actor.
He has a lot of funny moments, though,
Yeah.
I would say. So so I think a lot of people like this. This was, again, I picked this one because it was on a lot of best of musical TV episodes lists. And I think it's just because people like the show and they like that it was kind of a fantasy episode, not necessarily that it's a good musical episode.
Right.
Because like it was actually kind of great not having seen the whole show, because it is a good episode that stands alone. Like, having never seen the show, I followed what was going on.
I just love seeing episodes like this or any type of show like this where John Noble's telling a story to the kids, so there's free reign on what everything looks like. So the art direction was really cool.
It was very imaginative.
It's very imaginative, creative. It's obviously noir based. the story is noir based.
The cars were old, but they were talking on cell phones.
They still had cell phones.
He had a lab, but it was all like slinkies, and the cow was painted magical colors.
So Akiva Goldsman was he was consulting producer, and he co-wrote this script. Very famous for writing a couple of the Batman movies, including Batman and Robin, which is the campiest, pretty much widely considered one of the worst screenplays ever written. So. Take that for what it is.
The episode also, and again, grand tradition of musical theater actors on TV shows who don't get to perform in the musical episode. We had Broadway's Michael Cerveris, who I'm thinking must have been in a lot of episodes before this. He's playing this creepy guy. He doesn't have any eyebrows, and he's bald, but he's bald in real life. And he just sang Finishing the Hat at the Sondheim 90 celebration.
But as far as this episode, there was occasional numbers. They were all pre.
They weren't even full numbers.
They were just sections of songs.
They were like, you could tell it's him telling a story, and he thinks of a moment where the music kind of comes to him because he's high. So he starts doing something happens and I'm head over heels. And then, one of the characters was looking for a job, and she did I really need this job from a chorus line.
Yeah, she I don't know who that actor is, but she seems really good too.
And then they did the Candyman. They had the corpses popping up to sing Candyman, and then John Noble sang it at the end. He's like, I can do who could take the sunrise.
And a clever little ending for this episode where the kid is like, listen, that's not how you end a story. Let me tell you how to end a story, you know.
And then the only other music moment was when Anna Torv was singing, for once in my life I have someone who needs me.
Oh, when he died.
But when he died for a minute, but he came back to life. And that was nice. I'd never heard that song kind of done in a slow way.
And sort of the same way with I Really Need This Job, it's totally different from the context of a chorus line. It's not like she's like actually at an office.
Actually at an office, telling someone.
They took those songs and like they kind of put them in strange situations.
Yeah, it really did feel like someone was telling a story, and in the moment they thought of a lyric that made sense in the moment, and so they sang it. So like I can't say I was bored or that I didn't like it. Out of the three kind of musical episodes that we watched that aren't really musical episodes, I think I like this one the best.
Yeah.
It was a cool, just kind of little, not bound by real world logic story, like a story you'd tell a kid.
Yeah, and I actually kind of want to check out the other episodes now.
The show, one might say.
I guess you could say that.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn. I'll hold it for you.
The pile is getting smaller. Supernatural. This show has been on for like 12 or 13 years, and I've never seen a single episode. I've never stumbled across a commercial. I've never like flipped channels and caught a glimpse of it. I've never seen one thing about it, but all I know about it is that it has one of the biggest fandoms out there. And so I hear that the musical episode, it's called like fan fiction, I think, and it's supposed to be like kids doing a musical about. There's an episode we're watching Avatar right now. We just started, and in the third season, there's a part where the characters like go to the theater, and there's all these actors like acting out their life story that we just saw over 2 seasons, and that's what I think the vibe is supposed to be for this Supernatural episode.
Oh, I love stuff like that. Show within the show.
I'm excited to finally have an excuse to watch this show.
So that's where we are, on the road so far, saving people, hunting things.
Okay, so we just watched Supernatural.
Yes.
Season 10 from 2014, called Fan Fiction.
Yep.
Like I said, I've never seen the show. One of the only things I know about it is the huge fandom behind it. And I thought it was really funny that their musical episode kind of tackled the idea of their fandom head on.
Really interesting.
And the message at the end is write your fan fiction, like it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good message. And I think that it's very smart of the show to kind of finally comment on it, and comment on it in a very theatrical way. Like obviously a lot of fan fiction is usually written down on the computer.
Yeah.
But for this, it was a kid writing an original musical at her all-girls high school, all about the Winchester brothers.
What a cool way way to go about it, telling the story. Also, she wrote a musical, which, you know, is the reason why we watched it. Very, very, I thought it was a cool way to set it up, because I'd never seen the show before.
There were a lot of obviously 10 years of like private jokes and things and characters that were set up that completely went over our heads, and we just kind of went, well,
including some reveal at the end.
I'm sure the fandom was like really excited by this episode.
Like very, very cool actually the way it was done and executed. The songs were like the first act.
Yeah,
the only song we heard in the second act was "Carry On My Wayward Son."
It was very.
Obviously, we know that song.
It was a lot like that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that I saw, where most of the episode is in a musical, and then the last third is pretty much all musical, and then it's diegetic, like no one is acting like they're in a musical, everyone's watching a show. The songs they all were very Pasek and Paul to me. Very Duncan chic. I felt like, even the part where they're reading the Latin, I was like, this sounds like straight out of Spring Awakening.
My favorite song was Is It All Wait Here Then?
I'll just wait here then.
And I mean, what a wonderful song. That's like,
it was really
such a perfect moment.
And they had like I have to say, this was a really cool representation of what a well-to-do kind of a high school show looks like. They had a really immaculate prop table. I liked the moment of her standing under the lamppost, and then there was a girl in the front with lights making it look like cars were going by.
And then they had the bar light inside the actual prop car, so they could light their faces.
Yes. I thought cool, that was great.
Yeah, technical issues, like things that would have been issues that they would have handled in that way.
Yeah.
In a high school show.
And in the scene, you know, the brothers are kind of fighting a monster. That's what they do on the show, while the kids are, you know, putting on the show.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cute. There are a lot of fun musical theater kind of jokes. I do like that one of the first interactions the brothers have, you know, one of them's giving him shit the older one's giving him shit for doing Oklahoma, and then he's like, Hugh Jackman got to start doing Oklahoma.
There's some cool references.
That is
also,
true.
The Rent reference was cool.
He said, what did he say? He said, other road, no other way, no day but today.
She said, did he just quote Rent? She's like, not enough to get us in trouble.
Not enough to get us in trouble.
It's so funny.
And then I like that he said, you're stupid Andrew Floyd Webber.
My favorite thing that he said,
Dean, the older tough guy brother, you could tell at the beginning he was gonna get won over by the musical, and he was. At the beginning he was like, musicals are dumb.
If I ever direct anything again, I'm gonna use this line that he said, which was, I want to see as much sub in that text as you can get, or something.
Yeah.
Get all that sub in that text.
Yeah.
What a funny way to, I mean, he was inspiring them in the scene.
And I
Put
thought
as much sub in that text as possible.
I thought it was really funny how they leaned into the fact that the fandom does really there's this huge side of the fandom that ships the brothers and writes incredibly inappropriate fiction about them. You know, hook it up. Like you do.
Hey man, that's what you want in a fandom.
Yeah. And so I like that the episode kind of winks at that and kind of plays with it. It was good. You know, it's another one that's not like technically a proper musical, but it was a theater episode. It was about a world of theater episode. A lot of times TV shows don't really get those right. Like they just don't understand how they work. And I thought this was on the scale of like kids musicals on TV, I felt like this was a fairly believable one. Like Glee was always insane. Glee always pissed me off, like raining on the stage. But this one I could see, like they had a really nice backdrop that obviously was painted, and the kids painted it. It didn't look like
coming through.
Yeah,
too.
but it didn't look like out of the realm of what an actual high school would have. If you had like a well-to-do high school with like kind of private school with the kids kind of working on it. I like that it was an all-girls school and they were all playing basically all boy parts. There was hardly any women characters in their show.
They did an incredible job of hiding the lav mics. You couldn't see any lav mics on any of the performers.
Yes.
But you could hear them perfectly. So
I'm really curious where they filmed it. I don't know where they filmed Supernatural. I mean, I figure it's got to be either LA or
Vancouver
or Atlanta. Yeah. Because those are the places they film everything now. Anytime I see like a theater space on TV, I always wonder if I know the theater space where they filmed it. But it didn't look familiar to me. But you could tell it probably wasn't a actual high school because it was quite a small stage. But maybe it it was. Some really good high school theaters have a big theater and a little theater.
Well, they had a tracking shot that went from the hallway with all the lockers into the theater.
Was it for real?
It was well, the only thing, if it wasn't,
It could-
I
it
think
could
it was
be
a real high
outside.
school. If it wasn't, they would have had to put in all those lockers. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet it's a real high school that had a nice stage.
And so there weren't many songs. There was The Road So Far, which was the opening number where they kind of set up what the world is. Again, it didn't really make sense to me, but I figure if I watched the show, it would.
Yeah,
It would make
but
sense.
and like so I've never seen the show before, but obviously the character who wrote and directed the show.
Oh, Marie, she was really good.
She's obviously like a guest star. She's not in
Yeah.
the show normally, but she was fantastic. And she had to pull a Corky St. Clair. She had to go into the
she
show
had a funny
that she
moment.
wrote and directed.
She had a funny moment where she put the wig on her head and she was
So
like,
funny.
writer, director, actor, I'm gonna Barbara Streisand this bitch. I thought that was great.
Yeah, well, I
Corky
thought
St. Clair.
I thought the Barbara Streisand line was kind of corny, but the rest of it.
The normies know it. If she said Corky St. Clair, no one would have gotten it.
This is true.
It was a cute episode. I liked it. I'm a sucker
I-
for kids theater stuff, and
I have to say though, yeah, I love those aspects of it, the theater aspects, the way that she wrote the show, she directed, she was obviously really good.
Yeah.
But the actual supernatural element that they fought was kind of rushed
Oh.
and confusing, and it happened really fast, and
I don't think it
the
was
big
the
baddie was
point.
there, and then she was dead immediately, and it was
Yeah.
like I thought she was gonna come back.
I think she must have shown up in other. So the idea was Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, was inspiring her, and so anyone who tried to stop the show, her monster would kill them. And so I totally 100% called the moment where Dean was like, "Well, you got to do the show. The show must go on." So that was pretty great. But
Boy,
I feel like she must have shown up in other episodes. Also, I feel like the point of the episode wasn't the big bad. It was the excuse
Yeah.
to get them there so they could have the musical episode.
Well, I realized because it is episodic, so at this we're talking 40 minutes, 45 minutes. At this
Yeah,
point?
hour-long
So you
network
can't, you
TV
can't
show.
really get into it. Like I just couldn't
No,
believe
but they
it.
do. I just think I don't think they did it for this episode.
Calliope got taken out so easily. Some girl hit her in the back of the head with a book, and then
Yeah.
she died. And it was like, what? I thought she was gonna come back. I thought there was gonna be another final showdown. But it's not a film, it's just an episodic, so. But it's that
Thing.
really clever trope about where us who are watching the episode know, and the main characters know, but the audience in the show doesn't know at all. They think it's all a
Oh
part
yeah,
of the
they
show.
loved it.
That's a really
They
funny.
got goo all over them.
Yeah,
and they went nuts.
that was done effectively where there's something believable that's going on for us that's intense and dangerous, but the audience is just loving the show. I love it when that happens well. I just wanted more of one more fight between them and the
Well,
bad
hey,
guys.
guess what? They have something like 16 or 17 seasons,
It
so
just ended.
I'm sure.
The last season just ended.
Well, there you go. I'm sure you could catch up on a whole bunch. So yeah, it was a fun musical episode. It was fun for people who I think know theater, and it must be for those of you who know the fandom. It must have been like a real hoot to watch that episode. Last one.
Rock and roll. Is it me or is it you?
It's you.
Sure.
I think so, right?
Actually, I don't know.
Wait, we went
One,
you,
two,
me,
three.
you, me, you. Yeah, I pulled Supernatural. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last one.
Last
y'all.
one for tonight.
Sure, this is gonna be the best one possible. Oh, it is! I didn't even know that was in there.
Futurama.
Futurama.
Okay, good short one to end things. So we got both the
Matt Groening. Yeah.
episodes in this. So this one, I think I saw way back. I haven't seen it since. I vaguely remember it. I think it's another like musical being put on in the story.
I don't remember this one.
All right, so we're gonna
Let's check
watch
it out.
the Futurama musical episode, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings. We'll see you on the other side.
Where Styx is a river and not just a band. Though they'll play our reception if all goes as planned. Unless Fry, you surrender my hand.
Okay, so that was a sweet one.
Yeah,
that
really
was Futurama season 5. It was another one where kind of the whole musical happens in the third act of the episode.
Yeah, the rest is just set up. Yeah, really funny. I love how I mean, obviously it's Futurama, so it's going to be wild and zany. But the instrument that Fry can play is
Yeah.
like, it can kind of magically
It's like
create
I think it's like
opera.
I forget what it's called. It's like a
can't
hover
remember.
phone or something like that, or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it creates images, and so the third act. So it's very operatic. The whole thing is he's writing an opera.
You were just talking about the thing that everyone thinks is going to be the future of hover cars, and they were playing at Hover Carnegie Hall.
Oh yeah.
So that's pretty great.
But he's playing this instrument, and he can play it because he swapped his hands with Robot Devil.
Faust, he made that Faustian deal.
So we're doing an opera, and we've got the Faustian deal. So it starts as an opera that he's writing for Leela, and it's really kind of fun. It's very, they're going to that kind of Greek thing where everyone's got a mask on, even if they're human. Everyone's wearing a mask for their character, and then things fall apart, and then they kind of take you by surprise by having the actual characters all of a sudden just be in an opera.
Yeah.
They just start singing, and it's great because in animation, like we said with The Simpsons, you can kind of just do that and you buy it.
Yeah, Fry's not playing anymore. Somehow the music is just coming in. My favorite part is where Zoidberg goes, I can't believe everyone is just ad-libbing.
Yeah.
Which is...
Hold on. Our dog got annoyed that we were talking and reading.
Charlie has not been very cooperative
He's not been
with this shoot
tonight.
Shocking.
So Dan Castellaneta played Robot Devil, and I think he played Hedonism Bot. Again, Dan Castellaneta is a very good singer, and so he does it a lot on The Simpsons. You won't come here? So what else did you think?
I really liked it overall. I mean, I'm a huge Matt Groening fan. I enjoy the humor of The Simpsons, the humor of Futurama is right up my alley. So I always love this kind of stuff.
I've seen a lot of Futurama, but it's not like The Simpsons for me where I have to watch every episode.
Right.
Futurama is like a thing where if I catch it on, I like it. I definitely liked the Futurama crossover with The Simpsons much more than I liked the Family Guy one.
Exactly. Well, totally. So I'm a Futurama fan already, but I hadn't seen this episode, which is super cool.
But I loved the opera at the end, and it was very, there was a whole plan the devil had, and you know, Leela couldn't hear, so she was deaf, and then she offered to give her hand to the devil, and turned out he was like, your hand in marriage, and oh my god, it was this whole wonderful little deal. Everything really had echoes to Faust, to those really dark operas, like what's the Mozart one, Don Giovanni or something. It was not really a musical in that way. The sound of it, and it was kind of plans being revealed at the end and everything coming together. It was good. It was very enjoyable. It had a very sweet ending where Fry has to get his hands back and he loses his talent, but then Leela still wants to see how the opera ends, and it ends with them kissing, like the picture that he made with them kissing.
Yeah,
so
he's playing
really
the instrument,
sweet.
but it's not as good, so it looks like little kid drawings.
Yeah, it shows that, you know, you might not be the best at your art form, but if it comes from the heart, then it's worth something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was very sweet.
And it was another creative way to bring music to an episode. We've seen a lot of creative ways actually, just to get into. To change for one episode your show, which usually is not a musical, into a musical, takes. I guess it makes sense that you would need some new trick. And I feel like they were all quite different than ones we watched.
There aren't many animated shows on our list of musical TV shows, but they're all like adult animated shows. So I think it's only Futurama, Simpsons, and Daria. I know there are a lot more ones for like actual kid audiences, but to me that seemed like fish in a barrel. Like kids shows often are musical episodes.
Oh, I think my favorite part of this just made me think of it is like, you can't just say what you're feeling. Like you can't just have your character just say what they're feeling. You know, like that makes me angry.
Yeah, you can't. That's boring.
It was just.
You can't just say, I'm in love with you. You have to have them sing Some Enchanted Evening.
I feel like there may be some writers recently that sort of forgetting these basic facts or basic principles of storytelling.
The art of
we need some
lyricism.
script writers. Game of Thrones. Rise of Skywalker.
We're talking about lyrics now, Jeff. That is a whole...
It's a general
You're
message.
not going to hijack my video with this stuff right now. Okay, so Futurama musical episode, very sweet. I liked it a lot. There might be other musical episodes. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I bet
it's been
there
on
are.
for a while, or it was
There's like
on for a while.
124 or 5 episodes. Something
All right.
like that.
So I think this guy is getting tired.
He's been like crazy tonight.
He's been a fuss budget all night.
And you know, you can't film anything while Charlie's walking around on our
He is
hardwood
a
floors.
spoiled little dog, day 69 in quarantine, and his mom and dad are just always here. Anyway, so we have 5 more after this one. We hope you enjoyed this. Check out those musical episodes. Let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Let's go! It's Gayle, Don't compromise the feeling of some other guy holding up your heart into the sky.
I'll be there to care through all the lows.
I'll be there to share the highs.